Only a few more things to do and it'll finally be finished. My heart! Oh, great heavens! I have been struck with a deadly disease, which can only be cured. If y'all like and subscribe! Greetings to you, my fellow human beings. Anyway, welcome to the 6th installment of fueling my insatiable hunger for more Murder Drones content. By the way, did y'all hear the news? There's gonna be a graphic novel! Okay, back to the video. Alright, so I've got quite the to-do list right here as usual. Mainly just rigging, unfortunately, so let's get through all of them. So, list of things to complete are to rig all of the weapons, make extra teeth shapes, because I forgot that Murder Drones have another set of vampire teeth somehow. Last time when I was trying to set up the weapon switching, I somehow managed to completely forget how I did it, but I've since figured it out all over again and it's working pretty well. So, for most of the weapons, I just needed a single bone, but some of them, like the claws and EMP, needed a few extra ones. On the circle around the hand are custom properties that will control the weapon switching. I copied the value as a driver and pasted it into a copy location constraint on the bone. Then I also used the driver to control the scale of the weapons with some probably more complicated than necessary driver code. Is this overcomplicating? It probably is, whatever, it works. So now the driver controls the head/tail value on the copy location constraint, which will pull it back and scale. As you can guess, I suffered through most of the process, but at least now I got something that I can copy and paste to the rest of the weapons. Anyway, rigging, most of them were just the same process, except for the claws, EMP, and chainsaw. The first two were easy peasy, but the chainsaw required some extra work, because I wanted to have a speed controller. So on the chainsaw bone, I made a new property which will be used in some driver code on the chain's Z location value. If you type in #frame divided by 2 or any other number into the Z location value, it'll infinitely move the object in the Z axis. So multiplying this by my property should make a speed controller, and it indeed works. You can change the speed of the chainsaw by editing this value, or you can just set it to 0 and then stop it. When I first modeled these, I thought they looked pretty good, but I ended up having to edit several of them after putting them on the hands and noticing how they looked a little off. There was also this issue with the rocket launcher where I couldn't actually fit the rocket inside without it looking teeny tiny. But then I realized that when they fire, you get flashbanged and the whole thing is covered in lens flares and fireballs, so you likely wouldn't notice the clipping. If that's not possible though, you could always just shrink it down inside the launcher and scale it back up as it exits. I had also realized that a lot of these controller bones still have the deform option checked on. Why is that a bad thing? Well, you don't want the visor icon bones to turn your mesh into a horribly disfigured Lovecraftian monster straight out of the nightmares of children, do you? No, that probably wouldn't happen, but Blender hates me, so anything's possible. You have no idea how many takes that took. And that's all of the weapons rigged. Beware, worker drones. I am coming. Somewhere around the middle of me rigging these though, I suddenly got a DM on Discord and was shown how to create the effect ahead of the iris store and booleans, using only shader nodes. I thought, oh cool, I'll give it a shot, and it works pretty well. It's the exact same effect, just minus the booleans. All I had to do was just add a circle around the hand and then make this whole shader setup, which I'll leave on the screen right here. I'm not sure if this impacts the performance in any way, but I haven't noticed anything yet, so it's fine, I guess. Thanks a million to JustAnVertex for showing me this, and I'll leave his site in the description. Anyway, that's all of the weapons rigged and ready to be deployed on the nearest drone. So it's on to the next part, which is updating the tail rig. This whole thing is just a curve with its points hooked onto these circular bones, which are also parented to these bones. It looks kind of blocky when you bend it, and it requires a lot of manual adjusting. Moving on to the teeth, I kind of forgot that the Murder Drones have a completely different set of teeth, so I changed the model a bit before adding new custom properties onto the teeth controls, so that you can switch them in and out, and change the visibility. I'm not gonna question how they switch out their teeth and move on to the face controls. I got a suggestion to reduce the amount of controls on the eyebrows from 3 to 2 for easier posing. I also realized that on the lattice I only hooked the bottom vertices, so when I rotated this part of the eyebrow it gets squashed. That got fixed by just hooking the top ones as well. Doing this also reminded me to add some bend controls to the eyelids, cause currently you have to do this manually. Back when I was still rigging the face, I left these simple deform modifiers in case I wanted to use them in the future, and it looks like they're finally gonna be used. So, custom property, eyelid turned bendy with the power of math, blah blah blah. Hey, look at the eyelid bend. And that there shall be it for this video. I'm getting extremely close to finishing this rig, and when it's done, it'll be released for free on my Ko-Fi shop. Ko-Fi, Ko-Fi, however you pronounce it, whatever. Okay, there's been an interruption. Just go smash the subscribe button with all your might until it explodes or something. I don't know, nuclear explosion effect. Here we go. I'm gonna leave now. Yeah, no, goodbye. I'm out. Peace. I'm out. Go support me on Ko-Fi for early access and new videos. I'm out of here. Goodbye. That's. Hope you have a wonderful day. Bye. Ugh, my heart. Oh, great heavens! I've been struck. Oh. Imagine you're just blundering, right? Your parents are nearby, and you just go, "Oh, great heavens!" Oh, great heavens! I sound like a dying old man. Oh, great heavens! I have been struck with a deadly disease, which can only be cured if y'all like and subscribe. Sorry about that. I was feeling random. Anyway, welcome to the sixth. Anyway, I just spat over my phone screen. And also realized that a lot of these controller bones still have the deform option checked on. Why is that a bad thing? Well, you don't want the visor icon bone to turn your mesh into a horribly discovered Lovecraftian, crazy? I'm not crazy. Lock me in a rubber room with Blender, and Blender makes me crazy. Crazy? I'm not crazy. Someone help me, dear God, send help! Why is that a bad thing? Well, you don't want the visor icon to turn your mesh into a horribly discovered Lovecraftian driver's license. Driver's license? Where's my driver's license? Why is that a bad thing? Well, you don't want the driver icon to turn into your mesh into a horribly discovered monster through the driver's license, don't ya? Don't ya? Well, you don't want the visor icon. I just want to talk, dang it. Well, you don't want the dog. What the dog doing? Well, you don't want the visor on the icon.